across the state of Texas. And Chet Edwards gets a few calls from her too, and she'll tell you about that. Good afternoon.
Well, first I want to thank you for being here this morning. I know it's very hot outside and it's going to get hotter, but thank you very much for being here. Chet has authorized legislation that has increased health care and benefits for veterans by 70%. 70%. And that's since January 2007. He has also been instrumental in adding over 10,000 new clinics and new claim processors. He's been over 3,000 doctors and over 14,000 nurses into the VA system. Plus, and this is really important, he has been instrumental in setting up 45 community-based outpatient clinics and 92 new vet centers, ensuring our veterans are able to get more timely quality care. There comes a time in a veteran's life after you've faced combat and the things that go with it, that your quality of life in question. I know they told me when I enlisted that, that the government would always take care of me. Well, if we hadn't had Chet Edwards up there pushing the buttons that would make that happen, we wouldn't have a good VA system like we have now. He has doubled funding for mental health care for veterans over the last 3.5 years. Last year, he passed the first ever computer funding bill for the Veterans Administration. And he was instrumental again in leading the fight for saving the VA hospital in Waco. And I can't stress how important that is, because there's many veterans who would not have care. He has helped fund to improve the facilities. He's established and expanded services. It's just amazing what he has been able to get done and the millions of dollars that he has been able to allocate for the veterans' behalf. I can't stand here and tell you how important it's going to be to return Chet to Congress. Now, 9/11 was a tragedy, and we all understand that. But not returning Chet Edwards to Congress would also be a tragedy. He's worked, he's earned his stripes, he knows what's going on, he knows who to call. And when I'm dealing with veterans, if the VA gets cranky and doesn't want to do what I want them to do, I can call Chet and say, this is my problem, will you help? And he has never turned down any request in the 20 years that I have been called. He still answers the phone when I call, and that's amazing. But I just want to emphasize the things that he has done, while his opponent says that veterans care or veterans issues is a distraction from the larger issues. I don't think there is a family in the state of Texas that does not have connection with veteran. Either mom and dad, grandpa, cousins, uncles, children, grandchildren. And it's just amazing how his opponent would say, we're going to dismantle. Well, in essence, he's trying to dismantle. He would dismantle the VA system as we know it. And I don't know, I'm sure many of you have traveled to Waco. Some of you have had to go to Temple. But if he gets his way, if he were to be elected and he would have non-service connected veterans going to private doctors, and those who are trying to get their benefits go to private doctors. We have many talented physicians, but none of them are as talented as the physicians in the VA system who can write up those conditions so that the veteran will be able to get the benefits that he deserves, the benefits that he's worked for. And I know many people say, well, Chet's in Washington and there's not, we never see him in the district. That's his job to be in Washington, looking out for our interests. And it's hard to find words this morning to explain what job that Chet has done for veterans. And another thing is, sometimes the Second World War guys have never explained to their spouse that upon their death, there is a possibility that they would be eligible for some type of funding from the veterans, from the VA. And when that happens, I get involved. I try to get involved and be the bridge between that spouse and the VA. And again, as I said, when the VA gets cranky, I go to Chet and say, Chet, we have a problem. Will you help me? He has never once turned me down. He's never once made a promise that he hasn't kept. He is the most trustworthy person that I have worked with in many years. I can always count on him to be concerned. He has educated himself in the ways of the VA and the ways of the veteran. And it has given me great pleasure to be a part of his campaign tour for veterans because, one, I get a chance to meet people that I didn't know before, and two, I get to talk about Chet. And that's the fun part. We have to return Chet to Congress. There are no two ways about it. And if we don't, I just don't want to think about that, because it would be a disaster for veterans, their families, and the people involved. Chet has touched the lives of more veterans than I can count, and he has increased the quality of life for these veterans. And he has helped the spouses get aid in attendance to take care of their veteran, because some of these ladies, when their veteran came back from battle or from combat, they had to resign from their jobs to stay home and take care of their veteran. And Chet has supported that endeavor as well. And I really appreciate you all being here this morning. Chet's a good guy. He's trustworthy. He's a great person to know. I know that sounds like St. Bernard, but anyway. I can't tell you enough of what he does for veterans and their spouses. And thank you very much. One more thing I need to read, just to let you know something. Our military, our veterans, and our families, past and present, have no better friend in Congress than Chet Edwards. And this is a quote from George Lisicky, National Commander of the Veterans of Foreign Wars, and this was done on January 24, 2008. And since that time, he has even proved that he is even more of a friend than he was at that time. He's just, he's a person that we have to return to Congress. We don't have a choice. Switching right now, as General Taylor said, with the two wars going on, is not a good idea. Privatizing veterans care, not a good idea. But a good idea is to return him to Congress.